this video, I just want to share with you some of the facts that back up the housing market, and some of the facts that give you a feel of how the housing market is likely to grow over the coming years. Nothing in history guarantees future growth, nothing in history guarantees where things are going, but it'll give you a good feel of where the market's been for the last 50, 80 years, and that should give you some confidence about where the market's going to go and why investing in property is a good thing. This first slide is done by Prime Minister. Some of you will like that, some of you won't, but it's just to give you a feel. It came from a press release that the Halifax released in 2004 showing price changes during different governments. I'm not putting this up because I'm interested in which government was in place and what rises we got while we had different governments, and I don't mind the fact the data's from 2004 because we're going backwards from 2004, not forwards. But what it does show you, if you look down the table, it shows you a £10,000 property back in 1964, which was quite an expensive property down back then, and it shows you that growing through the years to being worth a considerable amount more where we hit now. You'll also see that in the average annual increase column that you're hitting averages apart from 90 to 97 where we only got 1%, and apart from 2004 to now where we've only got 2%. You can see all the other years, 6% for Harold Wilson, 7% for Harold Wilson again, 16% for James Callaghan, 12% for Margaret Thatcher over an 11-year period, 12% for Tony Blair over a 7-year period. So it's totally normal for us to have dips in the market. It's totally normal for us to have flat periods like the now current stats and like John Major's time, but it's also totally normal to have consistent long-term growth. If we put the second slide up now, this is just a straightforward fact. Source of the Land Registry. Since 1957, property prices have risen on average 11.3% a year. That's 11.3% per year. So when we say a £100,000 house will double in value over about 8 to 10 years, that is the average. It will double in value over 8 to 10 years. Third source, this is the Daily Mail, issued at the end of January 2011, and again it was backed with research by the Halifax Bank. But this shows you some time periods from 1983 to 1990, 1990 to 2000, and 2000 to 2010. Okay, so we're looking at different decades. You can see in 83 to 90, 107% increase. So in that decade, we doubled. 92 to 2000, we didn't. We grew at only 20% in the north, 46% still in the south though. And then 2000 to 2010, we doubled in the north of England. So despite the fact the housing market's been in crisis for 3 or 4 years, I put crisis in inverted commas, we've doubled in the north in terms of value. We've gone up 75% in the south. So you can confidently see that house prices are regularly increasing decade after decade when you look at these stats. If you look at the fourth source, now the fourth source is a funny one. The fourth source is the Sun newspaper. So we can take facts and figures from everywhere. The Sun newspaper, January the 1st, 2011, backed though by the Nationwide House Price Index, which is a key index in property, the Nationwide Building Society now bank. Basically, we're in crisis this last decade apparently in the property market, but from 2000 to 2010, every single year except 2008, property prices went up. Now they didn't necessarily go up dramatically, but they did go up. You can see in 2008 they went down. So at the absolute worst year they went down 15.9%, but every other year they went up, and over the decade we doubled, even though we've had a bad 4 years. So hopefully that gives you a feel. Property Insight, we actually say over the last 80 years, there's some other stats, the last 80 years it's gone up 7.9%. So we feel comfortable that if that's 80 years worth of averages, that those averages will continue. There's lots and lots of pressures on the housing market to put things up. So you have stronger rental demand at the moment. The reason that we've got stronger demand throughout is that there's more population in the UK. We don't build more land, it's physically impossible. So there needs to be the same amount of land used, but for more population. We have more immigration coming in, we have more families splitting up and kind of two household families where people have got divorced. So all these factors are leading to a further demand for property, and therefore property prices going up. The government in 2006 set some growth standards. They said how many new houses we needed to build each year. Those houses haven't been built over the last 4 years because of the crunch. So again, there's less housing stock than there should be. All these things are going to push towards the housing market increasing in value. And the government statistics, the government have to budget forward and work out what income they're going to make. They're working on, over the next 20 years, 7 to 8% growth. Okay. Property Insight, to be cautious, we always use 4%. So take the facts I've just given you, take the fact it's gone up for the last 80 years at 7.9, halve that at 4% and do your property projections on that. If it works on that and it makes you a good income, then you're in the market and you're very likely to achieve what you've set out to do. I hope that video has helped you. I hope it just gives you some reassurance that when people say the market's likely to go up, it gives you some idea of why people believe that. Ultimately, if you think the property market won't go up, don't invest. Put your money somewhere where you think it will grow. But hopefully these stats have helped you. Thank you.